12,900 years ago, a blazing comet the size of a mountain tore through the sky, shattering into fragments that slammed into Earth with the force of countless nuclear explosions. The heavens lit up in fire. Wildfires consumed continents, and a suffocating shroud of ash plunged the planet into a frozen twilight. Entire civilizations, cities built of stone and metal, technologies beyond imagination, were reduced to ruins, swallowed by rising oceans or buried beneath layers of ice. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and dire wolves disappeared, their bones entombed in layers of mystery. Could this have been the cataclysm that erased Atlantis, the legendary empire Plato claimed existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules? Or is the truth even stranger, concealed by forces determined to keep humanity in the dark? Perhaps a conspiracy, spanning academia, governments, or something far older, is guarding secrets that could rewrite human history. This was the younger Dryas, a cataclysm so profound it may hold the key to lost worlds. Tonight we chase its shadows, seeking what has been buried for millennia. What triggered this sudden plunge into ice just as Earth was warming? The younger Dryas, stretching from 12,900 to 11,550 years ago, was no mere cold snap. It was a global upheaval that reshaped life itself. Greenland saw temperatures drop by 4 to 10 degrees. Tundra overtook North American forests, and ice sheets advanced once more, lowering sea levels by 20 to 40 meters. The real mystery lies in its cause. Some scientists cite disruptions in Atlantic meridional overturning, triggered by floods from the colossal glacial Lake Agassiz. Yet whispers of a bolder theory persist: the younger Dryas impact hypothesis. It suggests comets struck Earth, igniting chaos that froze the planet and obliterated advanced civilizations. If true, why have we found no evidence of their ruins? Could they be submerged, locked in ice, or deliberately hidden? Consider the clues. Across North America, Europe, Asia, and even South Africa, archaeologists have unearthed black mats, dark, organic-rich layers laced with charcoal, soot, and iridium, a metal rare on Earth but abundant in comets. These layers date to the younger Dryas boundary, hinting at wildfires so vast they could only have been sparked by cosmic events. Nanodiamonds, microscopic crystals formed under extreme heat and pressure, appear in the same sediments. A 2024 study in Louisiana suggested a potential impact crater, with features pointing to a blast powerful enough to alter the climate. Platinum spikes, shocked quartz, and melt glass spheres add to the evidence of celestial assault. Yet the pressing question remains: if a comet struck, why isn't there a massive crater before our eyes? Could the impact have hit ice sheets, erasing all traces? Or is history being shaped to fit the narrative that civilization only began 5,000 years ago? Enter Graham Hancock, the maverick author and Netflix historian, whose work, Ancient Apocalypse, argues that a lost civilization, perhaps Atlantis itself, was destroyed in this cataclysm. Hancock highlights Göbekli Tepe, an 11,000-year-old megalithic site in Turkey, with pillars carved with comets and stars, built by survivors bearing forbidden knowledge. He suggests Egyptian priests passed down tales of a drowned world recorded by Plato, and that myths, from Native American flood stories to the Epic of Gilgamesh, echo a shared memory of devastation. Academics, however, dismiss Hancock, labeling him a pseudo-scientist peddling fantasy. Why the hostility? Do his ideas threaten the doctrine that humans were merely hunter-gatherers before Sumer? Or is there a deeper effort to conceal evidence of ancient advanced societies skilled in architecture and astronomy long before the pyramids? The shadows deepen with the Comet Research Group, led by Alan West, champions of the impact hypothesis. Their findings, nanodiamonds, platinum, black mats, point to a cosmic event. Yet they face accusations of bias and data manipulation, particularly after a 2024 paper claiming biblical Sodom was destroyed by an airburst was retracted. Critics argue these anomalies stem from wetlands or wildfires, not comets. But what if the retractions are part of a cover-up to silence those challenging the accepted timeline? Recent sonar discoveries off Spain's coast in 2025 reveal submerged walls and towers, perhaps the ruins of Atlantis, or mere geological formations. Why do myths worldwide, from Hindu Vedas to Aboriginal lore, speak of a great flood resetting humanity? The stakes are enormous. If the younger Dryas was triggered by a comet, it reveals our planet's vulnerability to cyclical catastrophes, truths that might unsettle modern societies and governments. Perhaps this knowledge is suppressed to avoid panic or to hide ancient technologies. Black mats, nanodiamonds, and platinum spikes might be scars of a cosmic war, or even signs of extraterrestrial intervention. Who guided our ancestors to build Göbekli Tepe's observatories? Questions linger, pulling us deeper into time's abyss. Was the younger Dryas the end of a golden age, or the beginning of ours? What secrets lie beneath ice, ready to upend what we know? I'm Mr. N, your host on Dreamy Historian for Sleep, where we unravel the past to illuminate the present. Join us as we explore the younger Dryas's impact on humanity, its ties to ancient monuments, and conspiracies hiding the truth. As you drift towards sleep, let these enigmas swirl in your mind, dreaming of lost worlds and cosmic secrets. Good night. Our nocturnal journey into the younger Dryas continues in Scandinavia, where the first clues emerged from windswept peat bogs and glacial scars in Sweden and Norway. In the late 19th century, pioneering paleobotanists uncovered evidence that defied the expected warming trajectory. Armed with rudimentary tools and relentless curiosity, they sifted through sediments revealing a world that had been thawing, only to be gripped again by frost. The term Dryas comes from a hardy wildflower, Dryas octopetala, whose pollen appeared abundantly in these ancient layers, signaling a return to alpine tundra conditions. Its resilience became the emblem of a period that challenged all prior understanding of Earth's climate. The discovery unfolded gradually. In 1879, Swedish geologist Gerard de Geer pioneered varv chronology, counting annual clay layers left by melting glaciers, like tree rings. Interruptions and darkened layers hinted at a climatic hiccup 12,000 years ago. By the mid-20th century, radiocarbon dating confirmed the younger Dryas as a distinct epoch lasting 1,150 to 300 years. This younger phase stood apart for its intensity and rapid onset, reversing millennia of warming in mere decades. Early researchers, peering at pollen samples, must have been astounded. How could Earth betray its warming trend? And why were some regions spared while others froze? This leads to one of the younger Dryas's most perplexing features, its asynchronous nature. Cooling did not strike uniformly, as if the planet itself played a capricious game. In northern Europe, Between latitudes 56° and 54° north, the frost arrived as early as 13,100 years ago, transforming lush woodlands into barren landscapes. Steppes. Yet journey farther north between 60° and 58°, and the frost arrived later, around 12,750 years ago, a delayed echo rippling through the atmosphere. Move into Asia, and the puzzle grows deeper. Japanese lake sediments indicate temperatures did not fall until 12,300 years ago, lagging 500–600 years behind the North Atlantic epicenter. Even in the Philippines, stalagmite records hint at mild conditions persisting nearly 6 centuries. After Northern Europe's plunge, why this patchwork of timing? Could it imply not a single cataclysm, but a chain of interconnected events, perhaps influenced by hidden forces manipulating ocean currents or atmospheric patterns? Or, in the realm of speculation, might it hint at localized interventions, ancient technologies, or even extraterrestrial influences that shielded some regions while leaving others vulnerable? Recent discoveries only deepen the intrigue. As of August 13, 2025, fresh sediment cores from Baffin Bay have emerged, containing microscopic comet dust that strengthens the impact hypothesis. A study published just days ago in PLOS ONE reports that these grains, rich in iron and silica microspherules, mirror those found across ocean floors worldwide, suggesting a comet trail blanketed the Earth 12,800 years ago. Scientists from the Comet Research Group argue that this debris triggered the climatic upheaval, with airbursts scattering evidence across the planet. Skeptics, however, counter that these particles could originate from volcanic activity or micrometeorites, leaving the question open. Are these the fingerprints of a cosmic visitor, or merely a natural cycle disguised as catastrophe? Another revelation from Louisiana, detailed in a June 2025 paper, identifies a 300-meter depression east of Perkins, filled with impact proxies such as shocked quartz and melt glass. Proponents claim this shallow crater marks a younger Dryas airburst, potentially supporting Graham Hancock's theories of a lost civilization destroyed by such events. But why has this site remained obscure until now? Is it simple oversight, or a deliberate act to maintain the sanctity of gradualist geology? The debate over gradualism adds another layer of fascination, a philosophical undercurrent shadowing the younger Dryas since its discovery. In early geology, thinkers like Charles Lyell championed uniformitarianism, the belief that Earth's changes unfold slowly through processes observable today. Sudden upheavals were dismissed as fanciful, consigned to myth. When evidence of the younger Dryas first surfaced, it clashed violently with this paradigm, prompting some to downplay its abruptness. Ice core samples from Greenland, drilled in. The 1980s and 90s provided undeniable evidence. Oxygen isotopes revealed a temperature plunge of up to 10 degrees in mere decades. Dust spikes hinted at arid winds sweeping across the planet. Yet whispers linger that early researchers, constrained by academic dogma, hesitated to publicize findings that could overturn textbooks. Did this caution stem from fear of being associated with catastrophists like Immanuel Velikovsky, whose worlds and collision theories were widely ridiculed? Or, as some theorists suggest, did pressures from higher authorities, funding bodies, or influential institutions aim to preserve a narrative of stability, avoiding implications for contemporary climate vulnerability? These ice cores, extracted from depths exceeding 3 kilometers, serve as frozen archives of the atmosphere, trapping bubbles of ancient air that scientists study for greenhouse gases and pollutants. Their revelations are tantalizing. Surges in ammonium and nitrate ions around 12,900 years ago, likely from continental-scale biomass burning. Picture vast forests igniting, their smoke blotting out the sun, intensifying the cold. But from what origin? Traditional accounts attribute this to drought-driven wildfires. Yet the black mats, enigmatic sediment layers, hint at something far more sinister. Spanning the American Great Plains to Chilean valleys, these deposits, often 1–2 centimeters thick, brim with charred remnants and magnetic grains. A 2025 analysis from phys.org highlights ocean sediments near Greenland mirroring this pattern with elevated iridium levels, a cosmic signature fueling debate over extraterrestrial origins. If these mats record aerial explosions, why do their appearances vary? One site in the northeastern United States aligns perfectly with the boundary, while another in Asia lags centuries behind. Does this suggest multiple impacts? Perhaps a swarm of comets peppered Earth over time, or maybe nature planted a deceptive trail to test our understanding. Exploring the human dimension intensifies the intrigue. The younger Dryas coincides with the rise of Göbekli Tepe, a site in southeastern Anatolia that defies conventional explanation. Constructed around 11,600 years ago as the cold waned, its T-shaped pillars, weighing up to 20 tons, bear carvings of animals and abstract symbols, interpreted by some as astronomical charts. Klaus Schmidt, the site's excavator until his death in 2014, marveled at how hunter-gatherers orchestrated such feats without settled agriculture. Recent digs, reported in Heritage Daily this May, reveal older layers, pushing dates closer to the onset of the younger Dryas. Could this temple complex have served as a refuge for survivors? A repository of knowledge from a pre-cataclysmic era? Envision shamans etching warnings into stone, commemorating skies that turned hostile. Or, in speculative theory, might Göbekli encode maps to other lost sites hidden beneath modern cities or ocean floors? The tundra's expansion during this period paints a vivid, haunting tableau. In the British Isles, beetle fossils suggest annual temperatures dipping to 5 degrees Celsius. Winters rivaled today's Arctic blasts. Forests receded, giving way to open grasslands dotted with hardy shrubs, while megafauna struggled to survive. Yet a puzzle persists. Why did South America experience slight warming? Glaciers in Peru and Bolivia retreated even as the north froze. African records reveal mixed signals. North Africa's Sahara remained verdant, while eastern regions cooled modestly. This hemispheric seesaw, documented in stalagmites from Chinese caves, suggests a bipolar climate flip, perhaps driven by weakened ocean currents. A fresh perspective from Live Science on August 8, 2025, proposes cometary dust as the culprit, lingering in the atmosphere, unevenly blocking sunlight. If correct, it implies Earth passed through a cosmic debris field, a gauntlet of particles, sparing no region untouched. Pondering these disparities invites endless speculation. What if the non-synchronous cooling reflects not merely natural variability, but deliberate anomalies, ancient geoengineering gone awry, or extraterrestrial probes altering weather patterns? Such ideas, though fringe, echo across forums and academic papers alike, where enthusiasts link the younger Dryas to unexplained artifacts like Clovis points, finely crafted tools that disappeared abruptly. In North America's northeast, temperatures fell by 7.5 degrees Celsius, bringing frigid winters and scarce rainfall, disastrous for early human settlements. The Laurentide ice sheet, which had been retreating for millennia, surged forward once more, carving valleys and depositing moraines that geologists continue to map today. A 2025 study from astrobiology.com reinforces this with marine evidence. From Baffin Bay, where sediment layers reveal abrupt shifts in plankton species, indicating rapid ocean freshening that stalled warm currents. This freshwater influx, linked to Lake Agassiz's outburst floods, adds another layer of fascination. This prehistoric lake, larger than all the Great Lakes combined, covering 440,000 km², drained, likely via the Mackenzie River into the Arctic, diluting saline waters and halting the Atlantic's thermohaline circulation. Yet recent models, updated in 2025 by researchers at the University of Mainz using refined dating techniques, suggest European cooling preceded Asia's by centuries. Why the lag? Atmospheric teleconnections, where pressure systems transmit signals across hemispheres, offer one explanation, but mysteries persist. Japanese sediments indicate a 200-300-year lag, with mild cooling barely disrupting pottery making. Cultures. Philippine stalagmites, growing drop by drop over eons, record even subtler shifts, as if the equator acted as a buffer. These 2025 revelations, including YouTube analyses by experts examining South American and Greenland ice, spotlight Murray Springs in Arizona, where Clovis artifacts intermingle with megafauna bones within younger Dryas layers. The site's black mat, rich in charcoal, overlays these finds, prompting questions. Did a flash fire from above seal this time capsule, or was it a gradual accumulation, concealing clues to human resilience? As we weave through these threads, the younger Dryas emerges not as a single event, but a tapestry of anomalies, each strand pulling us toward uncharted territories. What undiscovered causes or sites await, ready to shatter assumptions? The history of its discovery, from De Geer's varves to today's satellite imagery, reminds us that science is an evolving quest, teasing truths just beyond reach. In the Iberian Peninsula, 2025 studies reveal mitigated effects. Early phases were dry and warm, later cooler and wetter, allowing populations to persist without collapse. This resilience contrasts sharply with Northern Europe's desolation, where glaciers reclaimed Scandinavia, rendering it nearly uninhabitable. Beetle remains from the British Isles indicate winters plummeting to 23 degrees C, with fleetingly short summers. Yet even here, mysteries abound. Pollen records show bursts of summer blooms, as if nature rebelled against the cold. Could these pockets of warmth hint at microclimates preserved by ancient knowledge or geothermal anomalies linked to volcanic activity? Volcanism weaves intricately into the narrative. The Larcher Sea eruption, dated slightly before the younger Dryas in a 2021 study, but revisited in 2025, spewed ash across Europe, potentially amplifying the cooling. Its sulfate aerosols lingering in the stratosphere could have dimmed the sun, mimicking an impact winter. But was this eruption isolated, or part of a synchronized global uptick? Icelandic records from recent digs reveal heightened activity, raising the specter of a volcanic chain reaction triggered by isostatic rebound from melting ice. The interplay fascinates. Did earthquakes from unloading glaciers awaken dormant vents, or was there a cosmic spark? Amid these questions, the gradualism debate simmers. Lyell's heirs, some argue, constructed a worldview sidelining biblical floods and Velikovskian collisions, fearing they undermined rational inquiry. yet as catastrophism regains ground, bolstered. By the 2020s Baffin Bay dust discoveries, the old guard's resistance feels increasingly archaic. Ice cores, with their trapped methane spikes, suggest rapid releases from thawing permafrost, a feedback loop that eerily echoes today's climate concerns. Is the younger Dryas a warning, a mirror to our era's warming, or a veiled message from antiquity? Finally, the connection to Göbekli Tepe calls like a siren. This site's 22 enclosures, unearthed progressively since 1994, feature pillars adorned with foxes, birds, and scorpions, symbols some interpret as constellations marking the Younger Dryas comet. A 2025 paper in Archaeology News proposes these carvings commemorate the event, with a vulture stone aligning to Taurus, where a comet swarm may have originated. Constructed by people without metals or wheels, Göbekli challenges timelines, suggesting organized societies predated the cold snap, with its builders perhaps refugees from a shattered world, encoding survival laws in stone. The site's deliberate burial around 10,000 years ago deepens the mystery. Was it hidden to protect sacred knowledge or to seal away a curse? As we ponder these enigmas, where are you listening from tonight, dear friends? What hour marks your watch as we unravel ancient secrets together? At the heart of the Younger Dryas enigma, where science and speculation intertwine like vines in an ancient forest, we find ourselves at a crossroads. Explanations may anchor us to the familiar shores of natural processes, or propel us into the stormy seas of cosmic intervention. The mainstream narrative, supported by decades of research, depicts oceanic betrayal, a subtle yet devastating shift in Earth's circulatory system that turned warmth to winter almost overnight. Picture the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, AMOC, Earth's great conveyor belt, ferrying warm, salty waters northward from the tropics to temper the chill of higher latitudes. Driven by differences in temperature and salinity, this system stabilizes climate like a heartbeat sustaining life. But around 12,900 years ago, something disrupted this vital flow, with consequences echoing across hemispheres. Researchers trace this interruption to colossal meltwater lakes formed as the last ice age waned. Lake Agassiz, a behemoth spanning 170,000 square miles across present-day Canada and northern United States, swelled with fresh water from retreating glaciers. When its natural ice and rock dams finally gave way, torrents of less dense water surged into the North Atlantic, perhaps via the Mackenzie River into the Arctic, or eastward directly into the ocean. This influx diluted salty surface waters, preventing them from sinking as they cooled, effectively stalling the AMOC. Without this sinking motion, warm currents faltered, polar air dominated, and the northern hemisphere plunged into a prolonged freeze. Greenland ice cores, with precise isotopic records, confirm this shutdown could have persisted over a millennium, aligning perfectly with the Younger Dryas. But what if this tidy explanation masks a more explosive trigger? Could the meltwater floods themselves have been unleashed not by gradual warming but by a sudden, otherworldly jolt? Enter the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a proposition igniting debates like sparks in dry tinder. Imagine a disintegrating comet, its icy core fracturing as it hurtles through the inner solar system, shedding a debris stream that Earth crossed 12,800 years ago. Fragments, some kilometers wide, detonated in airbursts over ice sheets and oceans, unleashing shock waves that instantly melted vast glacial expanses. The resulting freshwater deluge cascaded into the seas, crippling the AMOC and triggering the cold snap. Proponents, including members of the Comet Research Group, point to a growing mosaic of evidence. As recently as August 6, 2025, a groundbreaking study in PLOS One analyzed marine sediment cores from Baffin Bay, revealing peaks in iron and silica-rich microspherules, tiny spheres formed in high-temperature impacts, alongside high-temperature minerals and platinum group elements like iridium and platinum. These anomalies, precisely dated to the younger Dryas onset, suggest a cosmic barrage that peppered the northern hemisphere with airbursts, minimizing craters while maximizing devastation. The intrigue intensifies when we examine the global distribution of these markers. From the American Southwest to the Syrian plains, black mats laden with charcoal and soot overlay the boundary layer, suggesting wildfires that consumed billions of tons of biomass. Nanodiamonds, resilient crystals forged under pressures exceeding 10,000 atmospheres, cluster in these deposits, their hexagonal lattices hinting at shock synthesis from an extraterrestrial source. A 2025 update from the University of California, Santa Barbara, emphasizes that these airbursts, destructive cosmic events exploding above the surface, may be more common than previously believed, with Baffin Bay's deep water evidence marking the first marine confirmation of the hypothesis. Alan West, a leading figure in the Comet Research Group, has long championed this perspective. In a July 30, 2025 presentation alongside Graham Hancock, he highlighted how these proxies align with indigenous oral histories describing fiery skies and darkened suns. Yet why, nearly 2 decades after the hypothesis first emerged in 2007, does it continue to divide the scientific community like a fault line poised to rupture? Skeptics wield Occam's razor, arguing that the AMOC disruption requires no celestial drama, just the inevitable melt from a warming world. They cite computer models from institutions such as the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, simulating how even modest freshwater influxes could tip the thermohaline balance, triggering a self-sustaining cold state. Volcanic activity, like the Larcher Sea eruption in Germany around 12,950 years ago, may have contributed aerosols that further cooled the atmosphere, amplifying effects without invoking comets. A 2021 study, revisited in 2025, proposes that geothermal heat buildup in the salty oceans could have released energy catastrophically, flushing currents and weakening the conveyor system. These explanations root the younger Dryas in terrestrial mechanics, a narrative of internal feedbacks rather than external assaults. Yet cracks appear as we probe deeper. Why do the cooling onsets vary dramatically, sometimes hundreds of years apart across regions, if it's purely an oceanic phenomenon? Could the AMOC story serve as a convenient cover, obscuring evidence that challenges our understanding of human antiquity? Enter the realm of speculation and conspiracy, where the impact hypothesis becomes a gateway to theories of lost civilizations erased from history. Graham Hancock, whose works like Magicians of the Gods have sold millions, weaves the younger Dryas into a tapestry of forgotten grandeur. He suggests that an advanced Ice Age society, perhaps Plato's Atlanteans, thrived in coastal havens, mastering navigation, astronomy, and architecture before the comet's wrath struck. In a February 11, 2025 Instagram post from a fan page dedicated to his ideas, Hancock reaffirms that the hypothesis is not fringe, but a crucial lens for re-examining anomalies like Göbekli Tepe's comet carvings. A July 30, 2025. YouTube discussion between Hancock and Alan West explores how the impact may have vaporized evidence of this civilization, leaving only scattered megaliths and myths. Hancock's Netflix series Ancient Apocalypse, reportedly under discussion for a second season in 2025, amplifies this notion, suggesting academia resists such ideas either out of fear of a paradigm shift or deliberate suppression to maintain control over historical narratives. The Comet Research Group's work further fuels these suspicions. Founded to investigate cosmic threats, the group has published extensively on younger Dryas proxies, with their latest Baffin Bay findings announced on August 6, 2025 via UREC Alert, showcasing cometary dust particles and platinum-rich nanoparticles in deep-sea cores. These elements, rare on Earth but common in comets, peak at the boundary layer, implying a hemisphere-wide bombardment. Yet controversies that shadow their work. A 2024 retraction of a paper proposing that Tall Elam was biblical Sodom, destroyed by an airburst, cited methodological flaws. Yet proponents allege bias, claiming the study was discredited to suppress links between ancient texts and cosmic events. In an August 3, 2025 Facebook post by a skeptic group, critics lambast the Comet Research Group, CRG, for absurd airburst claims. Still, the evidence persists. Louisiana's newly identified depression, detailed in a June 2025 paper, yields shocked quartz and melt glass, dated to the younger Dryas. This 300-meter feature east of Perkins suggests a shallow airburst capable of igniting regional chaos, perhaps even contributing to the meltwater pulses that stalled the AMOC. Could this be more than science? A battle for truth? Skeptics like Vance Holliday in a 2023 rebuttal updated in 2025 debates dismiss the hypothesis as a gish gallop of unsubstantiated claims, citing inconsistent dating and non-unique markers. Nanodiamonds appear in Holocene soils too, they argue, and black mats form in wetlands without cosmic intervention. Yet Hancock counters in an August 10, 2025 exposé, insisting the hypothesis better explains megafauna extinctions and cultural shifts than gradualism ever could. The abrupt end of the Clovis culture, coinciding with the boundary, aligns with impact-induced famine. Meanwhile, fulsome adaptations hint at survivors innovating amid ruins and indigenous legends, from Hopi tales of fiery arrows to Australian Dreamtime floods echo this trauma, a collective memory Hancock believes academia ignores to preserve its gradualist dogma. The conspiracy deepens when considering funding and influence. Why do major grants favor ocean current models over impact? Research? A 2025 Live Science article on comet trails suggests Earth passed through debris from a disintegrating body 12,000 years ago, sparking the younger Dryas via dust veils. This aligns with astrobiology.com's June 2025 report on shocked quartz as evidence of potentially frequent airbursts. If true, it implies cyclic cosmic threats. Truths governments might suppress to avoid public panic, echoing Velikovsky's suppressed theories of planetary collisions. Hancock's February 12, 2025. Exposé clarifies he does not claim proof of a lost civilization, but views the hypothesis as supportive, urging open minds. Consider the implications for vanished societies. If comets struck ice caps, meltwater would have scoured landscapes, erasing coastal cities where advanced groups likely lived. Plato's Atlantis, dated 9,000 years before Solon, roughly 11,500 years ago, aligns with the younger Dryas's end. It's sinking a metaphor for flood devastation. Recent sonar scans off Spain's coast, per a 2025 Heritage Daily Update, reveal submerged structures. Could these be Atlantean remnants? The CRG's mission: to find evidence of comet impacts and raise awareness before modern cities face similar fates, carries an ominous tone, blending science with prophecy. Their Baffin Bay discovery, reaching depths up to 2,400 meters and minimizing contamination, challenges detractors, yet retractions persist, fueling claims of sabotage. Volcanism offers a middle ground explanation. Larcher sea ash may have cooled Europe, but its timing predates the full younger Dryas, suggesting a compound cause. A 2025 UR alert release links ocean sediments to comet impacts, with northern cooling 12,800 years ago corresponding to debris influx. This hybrid view hints at interactions that may have triggered volcanic unrest, as seismic data from Iceland reveal spikes. Did airbursts fracture the crust, awakening dormant vents? Such synergies blur the line between terrestrial and celestial forces, leaving the younger Dryas as an intricate puzzle of compounded catastrophes. Lines between theories, leaving us to wonder if the AMOC disruption was merely a symptom, not the true cause. As debates flare, Hancock's August 9, 2025 Facebook post shares video evidence of the cosmic strike, claiming it validates his views. Critics, in Skeptical Inquirer's June 2025 issue, dismiss it as a failed hypothesis, citing the absence of obvious craters. Yet Louisiana's depression and Baffin Bay's proxies counter this, with microtectites matching those from known impacts. The Comet Research Group's persistence, despite harassment, evokes both admiration and skepticism. As West describes in interviews, are they visionaries or targets of a gatekeeping elite? Ultimately, the younger Dryas challenges us to ask, if a comet erased civilizations, what echoes remain in myths and monuments? Gobekli's vulture, stone, aligned with Taurus, the supposed origin of a comet swarm, may encode this warning. As 2025 brings fresh cores and updated climate models, the hypothesis evolves, serving as a beacon for those seeking lost truths. Perhaps the AMOC tale is just a fragment, and the full mosaic reveals a cosmos actively shaping destinies. Each new clue pulls us closer to understanding whether our ancestors' fate was natural or scripted in the stars. A legacy that may foretell our own. Deep within the labyrinth of Earth's ancient chronicles, where the bones of giants lie scattered, like forgotten runes, the saga of the younger Dryas unfolds a chapter rife with vanishings that defy easy explanation. Take the woolly mammoth colossal wanderer of the steppe, whose crescent-shaped tusks gleamed beneath shaggy coats that shielded them from blizzards capable of freezing rivers solid. These titans roamed from Siberia's frozen plains to North America's sweeping grasslands, numbering in the millions before the younger Dryas gripped the planet. In a geological blink of mere centuries, their populations collapsed, leaving behind graveyards of ivory and mystery. What force felled these creatures, long adapted to the harshest colds, only to see them perish as the world cooled anew? Was it the unrelenting bite of climate, the sharpened spears of early humans, or a celestial hammer shattering their world? Each fossil whispers a different story, drawing us into a web of possibilities where humanity plays both victim and observer. The mammoth's demise provides a portal into this puzzle. Recent excavations at Tamaulipas, Mexico, announced April. 25th, 2025, revealed a fossil bed likely containing mammoth remains, tipped off by an anonymous source. Covered in Mexico News Daily, preliminary analyses suggest rapid burial, perhaps from flash floods or ash falls, echoes of the era's chaos. But why here, in a region where mammoths mingled with early human migrants crossing from Beringia? Critical Review, published April 1, 2025, in Quaternary Science Reviews, examines late Pleistocene megafauna records in Mexico, highlighting interactions with human populations. Sites across the country, from Baja California to the Yucatan, show mammoth bones alongside Clovis-like tools, raising the specter of overhunting. Yet inconsistencies abound. Some remains show no cut marks, hinting at natural deaths amid environmental stress, while others bear fractures suggestive of human exploitation. This duality fuels curiosity. Were these creatures hunted to the brink, or did the younger Dryas's climatic whip deliver the fatal blow? Venturing north, the saber-toothed Catsmilodon fatalis emerges as another spectral figure in this extinction drama. With dagger-like fangs capable of piercing thick hides, these predators dominated the food chain, ambushing mammoths and ground sloths in scenes of raw, prehistoric power. Fossils from the La Brea tar pits in California, analyzed in a 2023 study, but revisited in 2025 discussions, reveal a pre-Younger Dryas decline, with populations dwindling between 15,600 and 10,000 years ago. The tar pits, a natural trap preserving thousands of specimens, show a surge in injuries and pathologies just before the boundary, as if the saber-toothed cats were driven to desperate hunts amid shrinking habitats. A fresh perspective from a May 2025 Heritage Daily article ties this to the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, citing new evidence of microspherules and nanodiamonds in tar pit layers. These particles suggest airbursts igniting wildfires and disrupting ecosystems. If comets rained fire from the sky, could the saber-tooths have been collateral damage, their predatory prowess no match for a cosmic apocalypse? Or did human arrivals, wielding fire and spears, tip the scales, turning hunters into the hunted? The ground sloth, Megatherium americanum, another Pleistocene marvel, adds further intrigue. Standing 20 feet tall on its hind legs, it grazed South American pampas with claws suited for pulling down branches. Unlike their northern kin, these giants faced extinction even as Glacius retreated in Peru and Bolivia and parts of Australia. Warmed. A 2025 YouTube video exploring ancient mysteries, uploaded on August 10th, delves into South American evidence, updating a 2010 sedimentary geology study with recent Patagonian finds. Fired glaciofluvial beds in the Andes show heating exceeding 900 degrees, far beyond natural fires, with melt coatings hinting at cosmic ejecta. This suggests the impacts reached far south, scorching habitats and forcing sloths into isolated refuges. Yet, the experts wonder, if climate ameliorated, why did the sloths vanish? Indigenous Mapuche legends speak of giant beasts felled by stars falling like rain, a tantalizing motif hinting that oral traditions might encode memories of impacts or human overhunting amid chaos. Here, the human element threads accountability through the extinctions, casting our ancestors as potential architects of doom. The overkill hypothesis, championed by Paul Martin in the 1960s and refined in 2025 reviews, posits that Clovis hunters arriving via Beringia around 13,000 years ago blitzed naive megafauna unaccustomed to human predation. In North America, sites like Murray Springs in Arizona yield Clovis points embedded in mammoth bones, a smoking gun of lethal encounters. The August 10th video also highlights magnetic microspherules at Murray Springs, concentrated in the black mat overlaying Clovis artifacts, suggesting an impact coinciding with cultural shifts. But was overkill the sole culprit, or merely a thread? In a tangled tapestry of cosmic strikes, climate upheaval, and ecological collapse, hubris entwined with cosmic misfortune, humans both survivors and inadvertent agents of extinction. The Tamalapa bed, announced April 25, 2025, teases this duality. Alongside sloth and camelid remains lie lithic fragments resembling Clovis and fishtail points, hinting at opportunistic hunting timed with environmental stress. Radiocarbon dates span millennia, some predating the younger Dryas, suggesting humans encountered megafauna already weakened by climate oscillations. In South America, warming paradoxically coincided with mass die-offs. Sloths, gyptoadons, and armored camelids fell even where glaciers retreated and vegetation rebounded. Argentine charred remains documented in 2025 Patagonian updates reflect high heat events consistent with cosmic airbursts, wildfires ignited by meteoric fragments raining fire across the hemisphere. Humans navigating these scorched landscapes may have scavenged, hunted, or competed for dwindling resources, leaving marks on bones that now speak across millennia. Indigenous myths, like Aztec tales of giants felled by gods, perhaps encode collective memory of both catastrophe and human opportunism. Camelops grazed the prairies, equids roamed the Yukon, yet post-younger Dryas, fossil evidence shows fractured herds and kill sites with human marks. Climate proxies suggest drought stress predated human arrival, highlighting opportunistic rather than systematic hunting. Dire wolves, apex predators of North American plains, vanish from the fossil record in parallel with soot-laden younger Dryas deposits. Pack hunters displaced or poisoned by wildfire, impact fallout, or cascading ecosystem collapse. Across continents, a mosaic emerges. Cosmic events scattering silica microspherules, sudden climatic upheaval, freezing or starving populations, and humans seizing fleeting advantage. Each factor interweaves with the others, making it impossible to attribute extinction to a single cause. The Tamalapa fossils beckon. Could forthcoming digs finally clarify this hybrid truth, revealing a world where advanced human behavior, climate extremes, and cosmic fire converge to shape the fate of Earth's largest creatures? These stones, encode, could they preserve memory of celestial calamities, techniques for survival, or even maps to forgotten settlements lost beneath millennia of soil and shifting rivers? The vulture stone, aligned to Taurus, hints at a sophisticated awareness of the skies, perhaps a warning of cometary threats witnessed during the younger Dryas. Each carved fox, bird, or scorpion could represent a constellation, a seasonal cue, or a mnemonic device transmitting knowledge across generations. Intriguingly, Göbekli Tepe's enclosure patterns and pillar orientations suggest a social organization capable of large-scale labor coordination, despite the absence of metallurgy or wheeled transport. Scholars speculate that communities sought refuge there, sharing wisdom salvaged from impact zones, wildfires, and famine-stricken regions. Could survivors from Northern Europe or other catastrophically affected zones have brought knowledge of agriculture, animal husbandry, or irrigation that later seeded the Neolithic Revolution? The interplay of environment, human ingenuity, and potential pre-flood memory creates a tantalizing mosaic. Rapid warming after 11,500 years ago stabilized climates just as seeds of domestication were being sown. The timing coincides with increased sedentism in Levantine villages, suggesting a direct link between survival pressures during the Younger Dryas and technological leaps. Populations forced into dense river valleys had to innovate, storing grains, breeding plants selectively, and organizing labor. Might some of this wisdom have been transmitted orally or symbolically through monumental constructions like Göbekli Tepe? As we consider these threads, climatic upheaval, cosmic impacts, human migration, and ancient monuments, the Younger Dryas emerges not merely as a period of extinction, but as a crucible forging civilization's foundations. Our ancestors' ingenuity, spurred by adversity, laid down cultural and technological blueprints that echo to the present. The question lingers: were they simply survivors, or custodians of a hidden older knowledge encoded in stone, legend, and the very landscapes they once traversed? As the Younger Dryas receded around 11,550 years ago, the world did not simply return to what it had been. Its icy grip lifted unevenly, leaving a mosaic of rapid thaws and lingering chills. Greenland's cores record warming that surged in mere decades, while Asian stalagmites hint at a more languid recovery across centuries. The invisible hand that orchestrated this uneven awakening remains debated. Were meltwater pulses the architects of transformation, or did cosmic events play a hidden role echoing in myths of floods and falling stars? Across continents, humans emerged tempered by adversity. European populations migrated, merged, and innovated under pressure. In the Levant, Nufian communities pivoted from foraging to intensive harvesting, laying the foundations of agriculture. Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe rise as silent sentinels of this era, their pillars and carvings encoding celestial observations, perhaps warnings from survivors of a cataclysm whose fingerprints lingered in ice, soil, and stone. Across North America, Clovis hunters adapted amid chaos, their strategies refined under the shadow of cosmic and climatic upheaval, while South American communities contended with subtle shifts, yet still endured, leaving traces in artifacts, legends, and dreamtime stories. Megafauna, from mammoths to giant ground sloths, vanished under the combined pressures of climate, human predation, and possibly celestial fury. Fossil beds from Mexico to Patagonia whisper the dual tale of environmental collapse and opportunistic survival. Nanodiamonds, microspherules, and black mats mark the fingerprints of impacts, fires, and floods. But the human story threads through them all, resilient, adaptive, and sometimes ingenious. The Younger Dryas was not a uniform catastrophe, but a crucible. Its legacy endures in our crops, settlements, and stories. Sites like Göbekli Tepe remind us that knowledge could survive even the harshest trials, encoded in stone for future generations to decode. Comet tracks, astronomical carvings, and submerged ruins tease at secrets long buried, hinting that human innovation may have drawn from memory, necessity, and perhaps even from civilizations whose names we have lost. In the end, the Younger Dryas is a mirror. It reflects the fragility of life, the interplay of cosmic and terrestrial forces, and the extraordinary resilience of humanity. Its story whispers across time. Survival demands adaptation, knowledge must be preserved, and the universe may hold lessons encoded not just in the heavens, but in the very stones we build upon. As we study ice cores, fossils, and pillars carved millennia ago, we are invited to wonder, what echoes of the past shape our present, and what warnings might still ripple forward into our future? That traces of cometary debris, nanodiamonds, and microspherules coincide with these meltwater pulses, hinting at a combined cosmic and terrestrial orchestration. The younger Dryas, it seems, was not merely a cold snap. It was a crucible where ice, water, and possibly sky-borne fire converged, reshaping coastlines, ecosystems, and human destiny. Then WP1b, whether a gentle swell or a series of stealthy torrents, may have submerged ancestral settlements, scattering survivors and encoding memory into myth. From the Scandinavian encampments abandoned in haste, to the Iberian flood patterns, to submerged landscapes across the Persian Gulf and Mediterranean, evidence accumulates of incremental inundations that inspired stories of divine deluge. Some myths, Gilgamesh, Noah, Atlantis, could encode distorted recollections of these real events, amplified over generations. Yet, as Baffin-Baycours suggest, impacts may have amplified the floods, tiny celestial fragments igniting wildfires, darkening skies and destabilizing ice sheets. This duality, cosmic and hydrological, offers a new lens. Human migrations, the birth of agriculture, and the survival of knowledge may have been shaped not just by ice and climate, but by skies that occasionally rained fire. In this tapestry of floods, impacts, and migrations, the younger Dryas emerges as a pivotal chapter, a period where water erased coasts, fire reshaped landscapes, and humanity adapted, preserved, and perhaps learned from the echoes of lost worlds. The myths that followed were not mere stories. They were memory, warning, and record of an epoch when the planet itself seemed to recalibrate, leaving subtle clues for those willing to read the ice, the soil, and the stars. Adds another layer of tension, blending science, speculation, and a hint of prophecy. It's a tone that fascinates some and alarms others, because when warnings about cosmic strikes mingle with ideas of lost civilizations, the line between caution and sensationalism becomes razor-thin. This interplay of discovery and controversy raises deeper questions. Are these researchers visionaries unveiling truths that mainstream academia is too rigid to accept? Or are they chasing patterns in the stars that might never fully align with terrestrial evidence? The debate over data integrity, methodological rigor, and interpretive leaps becomes more than academic squabble. It's a reflection of how knowledge is gate-kept, challenged, and sometimes sensationalized. Consider Hancock's claim, connecting comet debris to societal upheaval. If true, it could rewrite our understanding of the younger Dryas, merging paleoclimate, archaeology, and cosmic events into a single dramatic narrative. Yet the retractions, rebuttals, and accusations of bias cannot be ignored. They remind us that extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. In this twilight zone, every new sediment core, ice layer, or mythic tale is scrutinized not just for what it reveals, but for how it fits or disrupts the dominant narrative. Ultimately, the story is not just about comets or lost civilizations. It's about curiosity and skepticism, dancing on the edge of what we know, probing whether the past was shaped by terrestrial struggles, celestial cataclysms, or a combination of both. And for those willing to wander into these debates, it's a journey that blurs history, myth, and science, leaving each listener to weigh the evidence against the allure of possibility. The picture becomes a maze where science, speculation, and personal conviction intersect. On one path, you have rigor, reproducible data, peer-reviewed analyses, and cautious interpretation. On the other, a siren call of cosmic catastrophes, lost civilizations, and suppressed truths amplified by charismatic storytellers like Hancock and digital echo chambers. The controversy isn't just about comets or megafauna extinctions. It's about trust, authority, and how narratives shape public perception. Supporters frame Hancock and the CRG as brave truth seekers, challenging institutional inertia and revealing evidence they don't want you to see. Critics counter that cherry-picked data, retracted studies, and confirmation biases erode credibility, turning science into spectacle. Every new sediment core, microdiamond layer, or crater claim becomes a battleground. Is it an overlooked clue of a cosmic event or an artifact of methodological error? And the digital age magnifies every claim and rebuttal, turning social media posts into quasi-evidence while feeding conspiratorial loops. Ultimately, the debate forces a deeper reflection. Do we dismiss unconventional ideas too quickly because they threaten orthodox narratives, or do we embrace them without sufficient scrutiny because they thrill our imagination? Between cosmic impacts, lost civilizations, and biblical-scale floods, the younger Dryas saga exemplifies the tension between curiosity and skepticism, wonder and rigor. The CRG's mission triggers a mix of alarms, speculation, and cautious foresight. Their Baffin Bay Platinum anomaly, reported by UREC on August 6th, hints at a hemisphere-wide cosmic strike, though corrections like Sodom's suggest inconsistencies. Hancock's X from August 8th urges outrage over overlooked evidence, yet skeptics dismiss it as pseudoscience. This tension between belief and doubt leaves one wondering, are Hancock and the CRG uncovering hidden truths or crafting elaborate illusions? The Louisiana Craters report via Dalton I-Mail on August 10th hints at lost civilizations, but lacks corroboration elsewhere. Covito's post on August 3rd accuses data manipulation, echoing Sodom's controversy. Within this maze, the truth seems both exposed and concealed, obscured by those wary of its revelation. Hancock's exchanges with West on Facebook challenge us to question prevailing narratives. As retractions and updates circulate, concerns linger, yet the hypothesis survives, a testament to human curiosity. The saga of pseudoscience and conspiracy in the younger Dryas debate reminds us that the custodians of history may hold keys to doors they choose not to open. Whether examining Hancock's Lost Worlds or CRG's Comet studies, questions endure, inviting exploration of the boundary where fact and fiction intertwine. Imagine a vast tapestry threaded with lost empires, celestial omens, and secrets too, potent for daylight. Atlantis, Göbekli Tepe, and traces of cataclysmic floods. These are not mere remnants, but portals into a past that may reveal humanity's origins, or its forgotten downfall. Visualize Atlantis, a legendary island with golden spires shimmering under an unmatched sun, obliterated overnight by cosmic fury. Plato described it as a naval empire beyond the Pillars of Hercules, a civilization of unmatched sophistication, engulfed by the sea 11,600 years ago, coinciding eerily with the onset of the younger Dryas. Recent sonar explorations off Spain's Cadiz coast have sparked intrigue, revealing submerged structures resembling Plato's concentric rings. Walls and canals lie buried beneath sediments, seemingly sealed by meltwater surges marking the period's close. Could these be Atlantis's remains? A city erased by cometary wrath, its technologies lost to the depths, the timing aligns with the younger Dryas impact hypothesis, suggesting floods and fires triggered by cosmic debris devastated coastal regions. Yet full exploration remains stalled. Online forums whisper of deliberate pauses, hinting governments fear uncovering artifacts that could challenge modern science or expose ancient power sources threatening today's energy empires. Meanwhile, across the northern Australian coast, another submerged landscape stirs imagination. A vast drowned plain, once capable of sustaining 500,000, mapped in 2025. Aboriginal Dreamtime stories recount ancestral lands swallowed by rising waters, echoing Plato's narrative with uncanny precision. Stone tools retrieved suggest a maritime culture navigating oceans long before recorded history. Were these people isolated, or part of a global network sharing knowledge across continents? The scale of this lost land rivals modern nations, conjuring visions of bustling ports and stargazing observatories now silent beneath the waves. Speculation arises that oil companies suppress findings to avoid operational disruption, concealing engineering marvels that could revolutionize understanding of water management and celestial navigation. The coincidence of Atlantis in the Atlantic and a lost Pacific continent poses a lingering question. Were these remnants of a single civilization shattered by the same cataclysm that froze the younger Dryas? On solid ground, Göbekli Tepe stands as a monument to mysteries defying prehistoric comprehension. Rising as the younger Dryas thawed 11,000 years ago, its T-shaped pillars weigh up to 20 tons, adorned with animals and symbols of cryptic meaning. Only a fraction has been excavated, with estimates suggesting over a century and a half more to uncover its full scope. Recent finds, boar tusk plaques and human figurines, suggest rituals predating organized religion. Yet the carvings remain enigmatic, possibly a stone calendar tracking celestial events like comet swarms. Was this a warning from survivors? A record of hostile skies? The site's deliberate burial around 10,000 years ago adds intrigue. Protection from invaders? Or sealing a cosmic curse? Karahanti, its sister site opening in 2025, promises similar mysteries, with pillars hinting at ceremonial networks. Could this be the work of a post-Younger Dryas priesthood preserving lost wisdom? Such relics fuel modern conspiracies, framing the Younger Dryas as a turning point in a grand cover-up. The impact hypothesis, suggesting comet fragments ignited wildfires and floods, finds new support in marine sediments from Baffin Bay, where iron-rich microspherules and platinum spikes mark the period's onset. These particles, formed in the heat of atmospheric bursts, hint at a cosmic bombardment reshaping climates, and yet mainstream science hesitates, attributing anomalies to volcanic ash or natural cycles. Why this resistance? Online voices speculate that academia guards a timeline where civilization begins 5,000 years ago, dismissing earlier sophistication to maintain control over history. The notion of a pre-flood civilization, potentially wielding technologies rivaling our own, threatens entrenched paradigms, hinting at ancient energy systems or astronomical devices that could upend modern industries. Forums hum with theories of governments aware of cyclic catastrophes, hoarding artifacts in secret vaults to prevent panic, or exploit their power for elite agendas. The younger Dryas's link to modern climate concerns adds an ominous layer. If comets or geomagnetic shifts triggered its chaos, could similar events loom ahead? Dansgaard-Oeschger events, recurring climatic flips over the past 120,000 years, suggest a pattern echoing today's warming trends. Methane spikes in Greenland, ice cores, indicative of rapid permafrost thaw, mirror current Arctic emissions, fueling fears of a feedback loop echoing younger Dryas volatility. Some theorists propose that ancient societies mastered geoengineering, stabilizing climates until a cosmic strike disrupted their systems. Could evidence of such technologies, perhaps encoded in Göbekli Tepe's pillars, be deliberately suppressed to prevent public demand for their revival? Whispered conspiracies suggest elites prepare for an overdue reset, weaponizing history to control the future. Myths across cultures reinforce these questions, weaving a global tapestry of loss and rebirth. Hindu Vedas speak of pralaya, a cosmic flood that resets the world. Aztec legends tell of one Kali, a deluge ushering a new era. Native American tales recount fiery skies and drowned lands, echoing Australian Aboriginal stories of submerged coasts. These parallels suggest a shared trauma, a collective memory of younger Dryas meltwater pulses raising seas by 7.5 meters. But what if these floods concealed more than villages? Submerged sites off Spain and Australia could hide observatories or power grids, remnants of civilizations navigating stars or harnessing Earth's energies. Reluctance to fund deep-sea archaeology fuels speculation. Are governments withholding resources to keep such discoveries hidden, fearing they'd expose a cycle of destruction threatening modern stability? Biblical accounts like Sodom's fire and brimstone add intrigue. Proponents of the impact hypothesis link it to an airburst over Tall Elam, where excavated ash and shocked quartz indicate a high-energy event 12,900 years ago. Though debated, narratives from Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica hint at a global catastrophe embedded in myth. Could ancient scribes, perhaps survivors of a fallen Atlantis, encode these events into spiritual texts, preserving fragments of lost knowledge? As we follow these threads, the younger Dryas emerges as a nexus connecting lost cities, ancient monuments, and modern conspiracies. Submerged structures in Cadiz, Australia's drowned landscapes, and Göbekli Tepe's star-marked pillars form a constellation of clues, hinting at a past where humanity might have thrived before falling. Iridium spikes and microspherules in Baffin Bay act as cosmic breadcrumbs, marking cataclysms that reset civilizations, leaving survivors to rebuild with fragments of lost knowledge. Yet mainstream institutions, slow to excavate and quick to dismiss, fuel suspicion. Are they maintaining a simplified history, or shielding truths too destabilizing to confront? Dansgaard-Oeschger cycles whisper of Earth's rhythmic upheavals, potentially poised to recur with devastating force. Atlantis may be more than legend, a blueprint of a forgotten world, echoed in Göbekli Tepe's pillars and Australia's sunken plains. Conspiracies swirl from elite bunkers to suppressed technologies, posing enduring questions. What truths lie just beyond reach, ready to reshape understanding or warn of what's to come? Could the younger Dryas, with its sudden freeze and fiery storms, have been more than nature's whim, a deliberate cosmic reset, burying civilizations and ushering a mysterious rebirth? Threads weaving through time pull us toward revelations shimmering just out of reach, inviting dreams of what once was and what might yet surface. Spanning 12,900 to 11,550 years ago, the younger Dryas represents a threshold where planetary rhythms faltered. Greenland's temperatures dropped by 10 degrees C, ice sheets reclaimed lands, yet human innovation surged, sparking the Neolithic Revolution. Could survivors carrying fragments of lost wisdom have seeded agriculture and architecture? Black mats of charcoal and soot across North America and Chile conceal nanodiamonds and platinum spikes, crystals formed under unimaginable pressure, hinting at celestial impacts. August 13th, 2025. Whispers from Fringe Science report comet. Dust grains, iron-rich microspherules, and silica spheres from Baffin Bay aligning with the era's dawn. These particles, born of a disintegrating comet, suggest Earth traversed a debris field 12,800 years ago, triggering airbursts that ignited fires and darkened skies. Could this dust encode the memory of erased advanced societies, leaving only myths as testimony? Atlantis, etched in Plato's collective imagination, may reflect a coastal empire drowned by meltwater pulses. Sonar from Cadiz reveals submerged rings and walls, hinting at celestial knowledge. Off northern Australia, a drowned landscape vast enough for 500,000 souls mirrors aboriginal tales of lost lands. These 2025 discoveries suggest interconnected havens, outposts of seafaring networks submerged as ice caps melted, oceans, rising 7.5 meters in 160 years. Knowledge of navigation or energy systems may have sunk with them. Göbekli Tepe rises as a sentinel, its pillars depicting beasts and stars, possibly charting comet swarms responsible for chaos. Excavation estimates stretch over 150 seasons, with boar tusk plaques and figurines hinting at rituals meant to appease fiery skies. Karahan Tepe, opening this year, promises similar enigmas. Vulture Stone's Taurus alignment, home to meteor showers, speaks of astronomers watching skies with dread, passing knowledge to seed Neolithic innovations. Agriculture's dawn in fertile crescents amid arid grasslands seems less accidental, more inheritance, a gift from refugees bearing seeds and secrets. The younger Dryas thus becomes a key unlocking ancient mysteries. Dansgaard Oeschger cycles, spanning 120,000 years, suggest recurring planetary upheavals, possibly foretelling our own challenges. Methane bursts in ice cores mirror today's Arctic shifts. Hopi visions and Vedic pralaya recount cyclic destructions, subtly preserving histories. Conspiracies suggest elites hoard these truths, preparing for the next cycle while the masses remain unaware. Black mats, iridium, nanodiamonds, all scars of celestial assaults. 2025 reports of Baffin Bay grains reinforce evidence. Governments may suppress dives off Cadiz or Australia, fearing exposure of ancient power grids or genetic legacies. Göbekli Tepe's slow reveal fuels notions of controlled disclosure. Yet amid doubt and discovery, humanity's resilience shines. From Clovis hunters adapting to cold plains to Nufian foragers innovating in scarcity. Neolithic megaliths, from Stonehenge to Fertile Crescent ziggurats, may echo monuments to stars or serve as beacons for future guardians. Meltwater pulses raised seas 14-fold, drowning coasts but inspiring innovations. Could resilience stem from inherited wisdom from Atlantis's engineers or Göbekli Tepe's stargazers? The younger Dryas remains a riddle wrapped in myth, its secrets buried in oceans and stone. Atlantis may yet prove a blueprint of lost worlds, its echoes in pillars and sunken plains. As conspiracies swirl, the question endures. What truths lie just beyond reach, ready to reshape understanding or warn of the future? Drift with these mysteries, listeners, as night deepens. Let shadows of the past guide dreams to the edge of revelation. Captivated by cosmic puzzles? Subscribe to Mystery History for sleep and hit the bell to follow our dives into history's enigmas. Where are you listening from tonight, and what hour marks your sky? Settle in under the stars, and good night.